Hi, I'm Eddie. Welcome back to Man of a Certain Age. If you don't already know, I'm a guy in my mid-50s who signed up for my first triathlon at the end of April, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's week 3 of my final training block leading up to the event. Today I'm going to review what I did last week in week 2, but the main topic of the day is how I can buy time. Specifically, if I spend $100, how much time saving, how much time gain can I get for that $100? I'm not talking about marginal gain, but significant gain. If I spend $100, where can I find significant time savings? So let's dive right into my week 2 review. I'll put up some numbers that you can see. I'll start with some basic numbers. First, my total training time last week was 9 hours. I ended up doing 2 sessions of each discipline, plus 1 strength session. And let's dig a little deeper into my numbers, into intensity. As I mentioned before, I'm following a polarized 80-20 training plan. Last week, I was pretty much on track, spending 75% of those 9 training hours in lower intensity zone 2, with 25% in higher intensity zones. Overall, I'm pretty happy with what I did last week. I was able to stack 2 weeks together of good training. Quantitatively, I hit my numbers in terms of the 80-20, or I tracked pretty close. Qualitatively, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty fresh, despite the increase in training load. This says to me that my buildup has been pretty good. I don't feel tired. I'm not at the risk of overtraining. What I can do better is probably spending more time in higher intensity zones. So over the next week or 2, I'm going to try to ramp up my higher intensity training. So let's talk about going fast. Last week I talked about mitigating downside in terms of my running to avoid knee pain and injury. But this week I want to look at where I can find gains, significant gains, not seconds but minutes. More specifically, where I can buy gains. What can I invest to get returns in terms of going faster and finding gains? And just for fun, I want to limit myself to a $100 budget. Why give myself a $100 budget? Aside from being a cheap bastard? Well, first of all, I'm doing this triathlon for fun, so there's no reason to go crazy. And second, this is my first triathlon, and who knows, it might be my last. So again, no reason to go crazy in terms of spending. And third, after doing some research, there's a point of diminishing returns in terms of the more money that you're putting in, the less return you're getting in terms of time saved. So just for fun, again, I've set myself a budget of $100 and see where that takes me. So what are my options? What can I spend on in order to reduce time, to go faster? Here's some options. First, there's coaching. I can hire a coach to formulate a training plan, or even better, someone to teach me better technique across all disciplines to improve my technique. There is also Aero wheels. These are modern deep rims that provide significant aerodynamic gains. There's also an Aero helmet, Aero bars, and a one-piece skin suit. These also provide significant aerodynamic gains. And running super shoes. These are shoes with fancy foam and a carbon insert that have set the running world on fire. But alas, for $100, the only 2 things I can really afford are the one-piece skin suit and also a set of clip-on Aero bars for the bike. But there's no woe is me. These 2 equipment are actually some of the best bang for the buck. They provide some of the most meaningful aerodynamic gains that you can buy. And as an added bonus, the tri-suit, the skin suit, saves time in transition. You don't have to change clothes between each of the segments. But even this stuff isn't cheap. Where am I going to find both for under $100? In China, actually in Aliexpress. There's some really cool online communities out there that are focused on finding great bargains on Aliexpress. Everything from open wheel bikes to cycling group sets to cycling clothing and accessories. You can find these forums on Reddit or the Chinatown online community. There are influencers out there like Trace Velo, who's one of my favorites. And I've had personal experience buying cycling clothing and equipment from Aliexpress, and I've had decent luck. But my piece of advice for anyone who wants to go down this rabbit hole of Aliexpress is that you do your homework. Check out different reviews on different forums, check out the online store rating and customer feedback, and make sure there are more than double-digit buyers of the item that you're looking for. So I got my Triathlon one-piece skin suit and my Aero bars from Aliexpress, both for about 30 bucks each, so well under my $100 budget. And I came up with some savings instead for about 35 bucks, which will come in handy. I'll come back to this later in the segment. Here's the skin suit. It's got this handy top that can be separated quickly, handy for quick bathroom breaks. And it's got a thinner chamois padding compared to traditional cycling shorts, which is probably okay. For a 40-kilometer time trial, which for me is probably a little bit over an hour, this thinner chamois should be okay for that kind of a short ride. How's the quality? It's okay. I would give it maybe 4 out of 5 stars. The zipper here sometimes gets stuck. There, find some loose threads occasionally, but overall, can't complain for $30. So how does it fit? Not bad. It's a little tight, but that's the way they're supposed to fit. The trick with buying clothing on AliExpress is that you have to get the sizing right. They have sizing charts for reference you can check on the stores. And also, myself, I'm about 174 centimeters, 72 kilograms. My chest measures about 95 centimeters, and this is a size L, and it fits me pretty well. So I want to emphasize the golden rule of races. And the golden rule is to never, ever use a new piece of equipment on race day. So to that end, I've been using the skin suit on training across all 3 disciplines, including swimming in the pool, and I've been using the Aero bars as well. So what's the key difference from my couple of weeks using my new toys? The biggest adjustment has been using the tri bars and how that changes my position on the bike. I've been playing around with bike position. I've moved the seat forward a bit to open up the hips. The tuck position itself shifts weight forward on the bike, and so the bike ends up handling completely differently. You can see in the clip, I've been riding with the Aero bars to get used to them. These Aero gains are meaningless if you can't pedal efficiently and apply power, or if you can't ride in a straight line, or if you can't stay in a tuck position. I've done all my recent bike intervals with the Aero bars to get a feel for what it's like at race pace. You can see in the clip I practice holding a straight line, shifting gears, and also taking corners. Cornering is just a very different experience when you're using the Aero bars. The first time I took corners in this tuck position with my hands on the Aero bars was actually pretty nerve-wracking. I've been getting better at learning how to corner with the tri bars. It takes leaning into the bike more using my butt rather than my hands. Here's a comparison of me cornering on this 180-degree turn. On one side is the first time going through the turn, and on the other side is after a few runs through the same corner. You can see that even after just a few runs, my line is much better, and I'm leaning into the corner more, which means I'm better able to apply power through the pedal stroke instead of worrying about staying upright. Let's take a look at my position. Actually, not bad. My back is pretty flat, as you can see. It's an older bike, so it has a higher bike stack. This actually helps to keep my bars parallel, which is more aerodynamic than the bars pointing up a bit closer to my face. Now, one area of improvement for my position is try to keep my head down as much as I can. Here's a comparison of 2 different points in the same training session. You can see the difference. When I look up, it creates a pocket of dirty air behind the helmet. But in reality, I need to be on the lookout for other riders, maybe even cars. I'm not sure if the roads will be 100% closed to traffic, so it's a balancing act. So honestly, what's my number one takeaway after a few weeks using the Aero bars? We're all mature here, right? We can talk about body parts and body functions without shame or embarrassment. The most important thing about spending an hour in that tuck position is that when you bend over on the bars, you're putting a lot of pressure on the sensitive parts down there, the chuffy bits. So you need to make the soft tissue down there comfortable to take advantage of the aero gains. So what helps with that? First is a saddle with kind of a cutout there to relieve pressure on the soft tissue, the sensitive area. And the second is a anti-chafing cream. You spray this on your shorts to minimize rubbing and chafing of the chamois, especially on a thin chamois, on a tri-suit. So this is where the last bit of my budget went. I think I spent about 20 bucks on this tri-slide spray. It's made such a difference. Oh my God. My private parts thank me after every bike ride. There's been such a reduction in chafing from using the spray. So how much time will I save for my investment? It turns out that there's a potential total saving of about 4 minutes and 25 seconds. That's from the reduction in drag over a 40-kilometer time trial on the bike from both the skin suit and the clip-on bars. But that's based on speed achieved by a professional cyclist. Of course, I won't be going as fast, so the potential for time saving for me will be reduced. But still, I think this goes to show that for some smart investments and equipment, you do get the potential for some significant time gains. So that brings me to the end. Next week, I'll look back on my week 3 training. I also want to take a closer look at the course and talk about my tapering plans going into the last bit of my training block. Thanks again for watching. Please give me a like, give me a follow, and I'll see you next week. Peace.